Listen, we're dying out here because you guys are being nice guys. This is not a Boy Scout meeting.
It's not, and you're acting like Boy Scouts. You gotta fight.
That was a town hall meeting in Maryland attended by Congressman Andy Harris, who now joins us on the line to talk about how things are going for him as he goes and talks to constituents during this August recess.
Is he a Boy Scout? Do you think Representative Andy Harris literally is a Boy Scout?
He's a good guy.
Well, he could have been a Boy Scout.
He probably has the character of a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
I don't know that if he was. We can ask him because he's on the line.
Oh, why don't we do that?
Yeah, hey, Congressman.
That would be my first
question.
question.
Were you ever a Boy Scout?
No, I never was.
All right.
All right. Well, nonetheless, what you're hearing from constituents, this is going a long, circuitous route to get to this question, was they want you to be tough in Congress. They want you to stand the line. What are you hearing from people as you go about and have these town hall meetings and have conversations with your constituents?
Well, in my district, people are very upset that Washington is not getting the job done. They're not getting our economy turned around. Obamacare is a mess. And they want the Republicans to stand up and fight harder.
So what does that look like, Representative Harris? I mean, all we hear within the Beltway is, oh, that means the Republicans are going to threaten to shut down the government and that'll be a disaster and blah, blah, blah. I mean, when you talk to your constituents and they say stand up to the president, toe the line, really represent us, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think that they mean that they don't want us to let him get away with anything. I mean, the guy comes up last week, for instance, or a week and a half ago, he starts talking about phony scandals with the IRS after, a month ago he said it was a serious problem with the IRS. I mean, they want us to talk about the issues. They're still very upset about Benghazi. I assure them we're going to get to the bottom of it, but with an uncooperative administration, it could take months, if not years, to do that.
All right. So one of the ways that a lot of people say you can get tough with the administration is to be willing to stand your ground, to defund Obamacare, even if it means that you risk the possibility of a government shutdown. Where are you on that possibility?
Look, I think the Senate plan, the Senate Republican plan. I shouldn't say the Senate Republicans, but Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, great senators. Their plan is to make a stand on the continuing resolution fight. I think a smarter position would be to take a stand on the debt ceiling, because the vast majority of Americans think it's about time we stop increasing the credit limit on our credit card. And if we make that the stand and tell the president he has to justify why he would want to both raise the debt ceiling and continue the atrocity that Obamacare has become, let him make that argument to the American people. The American people don't want a debt ceiling increase. The president insists we have to have one. Then he should be willing to trade Obamacare for it.
Either the continuing resolution or the debt ceiling, aren't you then either way facing a potential government shutdown if you can't come to agreement?
No, on the debt ceiling,
it's a little different.
Smoke and mirrors. Yeah, there's so many smoke and mirrors going around with that. The president would have to make up a day when we hit the debt ceiling, but that's a moving target. With the continuing resolution, if you don't pass it on at midnight on September 30th, the government closes, people don't get paychecks, and everyone realizes we're not in Washington to close the government. But they do want us to defund Obamacare, and I think tying it to the debt ceiling makes sense.
Representative Andy Harris is our guest from Maryland, and Representative Harris, I saw Charles Krauthammer over the weekend. He made a really interesting point. He said that shutting down the government or having any sort of, debt ceiling crisis, any kind of crisis, over defunding Obamacare actually plays into the president's hands, because inside the White House, they're actually very concerned about Obamacare going forward right now. The Democrats are worried about Obamacare going forward because the 2014 elections, the midterms, will take place, 10, 11 months after Obamacare has been implemented. And if it really is the mess that everyone thinks it's going to be, that's going to kill the Democrats.
Well, they lose either way on this, because if the president admits that this or gives in and he delays the implementation, then I think he's admitting that it's a very costly program that isn't going to work. The alternative is to let it get implemented and show everyone it's a costly program that doesn't work. I don't think he wins either way on that. I think it's lose-lose for the president. But we should force the president to tell the American people that he is digging in on Obamacare. He wants that individual mandate to go forward. He's already delayed the employer mandate, so it's not like he hasn't already admitted that parts of it aren't going to work. Our argument should be, look, let's stop throwing good money after bad while we have to raise our debt ceiling. Let's not borrow money from the Chinese to implement a broken program. And I think we just put more nails in the coffin with that argument.
I was very happy to hear you say a moment ago that you're going to continue to get at the core of what is really behind the Benghazi issue and the IRS. But on Benghazi, just this morning, Joe DeGenova, who represents some of these whistleblowers on the Benghazi matter, told us that he has sources that say what was going on at the annex was a transfer of surface-to-air missiles, and that, in fact, one of the real concerns now is that al-Qaeda, when they took over the annex, may have gotten their hands on a good number of surface-to-air missiles. Have you heard this? Is this part of the buzz that you're hearing up on Capitol Hill as the investigation continues?
Look, what we're hearing is that something was going on at that annex that the administration is very worried about revealing to the American public. This is why we're hearing reports, and we think they're true, that operatives on the ground have been transferred to other places, names have been changed. I mean, there is a cover-up going on. I don't understand and as we learned from the Iran-Contra affair, 2 decades ago, cover-ups never end well. The truth always comes out in the end. The president was doing something there that he thinks, that he's not proud of or whatever. He ought to come out and reveal it now, because sooner or later it's going to come out. You can't keep that secret forever.
So
God forbid it would be. It would have been a trading for arms with some pretty nasty folks over there. But we'll find out. We'll get to the bottom of it.
But that is the real focus of the investigation, because everything sort of will come into focus once you understand what was going on at that annex, right?
Absolutely. I think that's where all the intrigue is right now, is we understand what went on at the consulate, but what in the world was going on at the annex, and also the decisions not to protect, not to send people in. I just still don't understand that.
Well,
they say, the firefight was over in a few hours. Yeah, but you never know that. I mean, and the military didn't have enough assets to go in and help Americans. You got to wonder whether all this is interconnected.
Well, the reason that they didn't want to send anybody is because they didn't want anybody to know what was going on there.
That might be. Again, this might all be interconnected. It is going to come to light, but the administration is, we're going to have to drag them kicking and screaming to admitting what went on in Benghazi on that tragic night.
All right, Representative Andy Harris of Maryland, then we're going to have to leave it there, but we always appreciate you joining us. We hope you're enjoying your recess.
Oh, we're going around and we're talking to folks. You heard it. You played it. We're listening to what people are saying.
God, keep it up. Thank you.